Welcome to the Private Equity Exchange 2007, the only summit bridging the gaps between limited partners, private equity funds, corporate executives, and entrepreneurs. The Private Equity Exchange is the only venue where LPs, private equity firms, corporate executives, and entrepreneurs meet, enabling them to move quickly from ideas to deal crafting. The Private Equity Exchange, the largest private equity event in Europe for CEOs, funds, and LPs. LBO for professionals.
I like to end a day making you travel across the planet and across asset classes. My background is interesting for the purpose is I've spent 16 years abroad. I worked in the States, in London, in Tokyo, Hong Kong, Singapore for Goldman Sachs and UBS. I started my career as a headhunter in 1999 in Singapore and moved back to Paris in 2002, and I specialize in private equity, alternative investment. Let me throw at you three ideas to make you react and hopefully make you ask me questions. Number one is something that happened over the past 12 months. Blackstone, a leader in its field, the Chinese government bought 10% of them. Then Blackstone was the interactor between the Barclays and the Chinese government for their co-bid on ABN AMRO. So the question I'm asking you is, what will an alternative investment structure look like in 5 years' time? Second question I will ask you is, today, to me, Asia is what Europe was to the US in the early 90s. Asia are immature markets, they are not regulated, and they are in exponential growth, which is absolutely ideal for alternative investment, both in terms of fundraising and in terms of investment. So the question I'm asking you is, how many times have you traveled to Asia over the past 12 months compared to the number of trips you made to the US, Eastern Europe, or Middle East? The third question I'm asking you is about infrastructure. Infrastructure funds are becoming highly popular within private equity. They are, by definition, sector funds. So does it mean that private equity has to be reorganized through a sectorial approach? And does it mean that real estate should be included into a sector approach instead of being considered as a separate asset class? I'd like to have your views, any views on infrastructure. I mean, infrastructure is a growing word, growing buzz. And Macquarie, an Australian bank, so from Asia indirectly, leader in its field. Does it mean that your fund should be reorganized through a sectoral approach?
And I absolutely would say so. I think, about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, real estate and private equity was sort of where infrastructure funds are now. And real estate is kind of second only to buyouts now. And we certainly think infrastructure is going to go the same way. And absolutely it will be run by specialists.
Okay.
For sure.
So thank you. So thank you, sir. Go back to my first point. It's obvious that money is flowing. Investment are getting tougher and tougher to find. It's obvious that the overlap between the three asset classes in alternative investment, real estate, private equity, hedge fund, are crossing over. In your mind, how will look a leader in alternative investment in 5 years' time? Will it grow towards everything will be integrated? Will we talk about one asset class, alternative investment?
I don't really want to hog the microphone, honestly.
Please do.
I think there's a lot of nonsense talked about the convergence of hedge funds and private equity. I think they are fundamentally different. And 18 months, a year ago, there was a lot of talk about that. And actually, there have been a few instances of big firms like the Blackstones doing a bit of both. But they've got specialists doing each. They are fundamentally different, skills, and they'll be done by different people. For sure, alternatives is going to get bigger, but you know, it will be run by specialists in each area.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. But if you look at my former firm, Goldman, they are #1 in M&A worldwide. They are the second largest hedge fund in the world, and they're probably in the top 10 or even top 5. I don't know in private equity. So, what Goldman is saying that you can build those businesses and make everyone happy in a way. So I'm not saying that a hedge fund will be managed by somebody coming from private equity or vice versa. I'm just saying that the crossover of ideas, the creativity might come from looking across those asset classes. I'll give you another angle, interesting angle. In 2007, the largest recruiter of equity capital market specialists would be the hedge funds, not the investment banks. Hedge funds are saying to the market, we're now looking at listed companies. We're now looking at ways to go around and invest our money into listed companies. And ECM guys are very important in that field. So my argument is, I see the trends globally, and that's my strength as a professional, is I've been around the world. I see this trend of ideas crossing over. And same thing as about Asia, if someone doesn't take the time to at least spend a bit of time in Asia to get a feel for it, because you can't understand Asia from where you are domestically. You have to be there and get a feel and smell it. Similarly, my argument is some firms are saying to you, we are investing in the 3 asset classes, we are hiring people in the 3 asset classes, because creativity will come from crossing over.
I will share your point, because we are a small structure here in Paris, which name is Group, UFG Group, and we try to build the experience cross-fertilizing between the 4 types of alternative investments. And we think that there is a lot to learn from each other. We are small, but we have been creating this group for 2 years, and we begin to build now structured funds with the help of the specialists of one or other firms.
Thank you. Well, I try to make you travel around the world. Thank you very much.
Thank you.